And so that whole thinking of you needing something that's outside of you, I find it to be limiting, and that's why I call it a lie. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Toks Aruoture. I'm a businesswoman and I'm passionate about sharing my life and business lessons. So today marks 5 years exactly since I opened my boutique on the King's Road in Chelsea, and what a journey it has been. I can't believe it's been 5 years. Consequently, I find that in the last few weeks I've been thinking a lot about back in the day and thinking about the journey. I remember when it was just me, because that's how I started. It was just me, and I would make the trek to work on a Sunday, a bit grudgingly, because everybody else was chilling at home, and I love watching Columbo on a Sunday afternoon after church and then having a nap, and it felt like, oh my goodness, I was missing out on so much. But I also have been thinking a lot about the thoughts I had at the time, the lies that I believed that led me to make decisions that were sometimes wrong, and a lot of my decisions were born out of fear, and just really how scary the whole journey was. I talk about my journey in episodes 1 and 2 of my podcast, Living Inside Out. But I want to share today some of the lies that I believed over the years and then discovered that they were lies. Obviously, they were just thoughts. The first one is that I always felt I couldn't do XYZ because I needed ABC, or however way you want to put it. And really, this is just a mindset that believes that what they need to progress or what they need to carry on from where they are is lying somewhere outside there, somewhere out there, and they have no access to it. And so you're now looking around you and you're expecting to receive some sort of resource. In some cases it's cash. In my case, was actually a lot of times, in my case, it was cash. So I want to share with you today some of the lies that I believed, or some of the excuses that I used on my journey. The first one was that I was lacking somehow. I felt that I needed something more. Very often in my case was cash, and for you perhaps it could be something else. It could even be something intangible like courage or boldness or ideas or resources or something. And so that whole thinking of you needing something that's outside of you, I find it to be limiting, and that's why I call it a lie, because it holds you back. It basically is suggesting that there is something that you require that's not within you. And then what happens is you begin to change the direction of your journey, and you begin to search for the thing that you think is missing. And that's the disadvantage of believing that what you need is not outside you. So in a nutshell, the truth that debunks that lie is you have everything you need inside you. And I had to come to a point of saying that as a mantra so often, so that I actually started to believe it. I kept saying, I have everything I need inside me. I have everything I need inside me. Because I believed that just because I couldn't see the tangible things like funding, it didn't mean that it was absent from my life. It must have been present somewhere, but I just couldn't see it. So I chose to believe, hey, it's invisible. It's inside me. I just can't see it. So that was the first lie that I learned to unlearn. Second lie that I told myself was, it's not supposed to be this way. So one day I was attending a networking event and I ran into an old friend. I hadn't seen her in a long time. And she said, hey Toks, how's business going? And I went, oh, it's hard. And I felt that I was only saying that because I was trying to be honest. I was practicing living authentically, and I was learning to be honest and to be upfront about how things really were. So it wasn't a complaint. It wasn't a moan. I wasn't seeking sympathy, but I just said, it's hard. It's really hard. And after she left, I asked myself, why did you say that? Why did you say it's hard? And the truth is, I believed it was not supposed to be hard. And so the next question was, what if this journey of entrepreneurship is meant to be hard? Where did you get the impression that it was meant to be easy? Where were you promised that it was going to be simple? And so it really did get me thinking and changing the way that I was viewing things. And I thought, no, maybe it is supposed to be hard, and it's okay. So if you're going through a season of hardship or difficulty, or things just don't seem to be falling into place, it doesn't mean that it's not meant to be the way that it's going. Who gave you the impression that it's supposed to be easy? I had to ask myself, where did you learn that it was meant to be easy? And I didn't have an answer. So I decided it is supposed to be hard, and it's okay. When you come up with an excuse or a thought or a reason that says it's not meant to be this way, what you're doing is providing an escape route. You're basically saying that you're on the wrong path, you're doing the wrong thing, and you're going to go in search of the right thing. And that will take you off your path completely. I used to have a friend, or I knew someone who used to say that all the time. Every time she hit a roadblock in her business journey, she'd say, but it's not meant to be this way. And so what happened was she kept searching for how it was meant to be. And she kept searching for the right way, so to speak. And it took her off course completely. And she never quite was able to complete what she started. So don't say it's not supposed to be this way. How about embracing it and saying it is exactly how it's supposed to be, but I have everything I need inside me to make sure that it happens, to manifest it. The third lie I told myself was, things are going to improve. And I came to this point when I had tried everything I could and I was fed up, and I just thought, you know what, maybe things would just get better on their own. And I would sit back and say, I know it's going to improve. You know, it's soothing to say that to yourself. It's comforting to believe that things are going to magically improve on their own. But it can also cause you to miss the boat. Because if you sit back waiting for life to just somehow work out in your favor when you are the creator and you have the power to make it happen, you're going to be sitting there for a very long time. And so many opportunities have been lost when people have sat back and said it's going to improve. Things will improve, it'll get better. There are times it just doesn't get better. There are times that things will not improve unless you act on it, unless you make it improve. And I believe that you're a creator. And it's important to see yourself as a creator. There's a difference between being a creator and being a consumer. A consumer reacts to everything that's going on in the world. They consume other people's creation. They respond to other people's acts. And everything they do is a reaction to something else that's going on. Whereas a creator is someone who makes things happen. And I believe that entrepreneurs are creators. But it can be tiring being a creator, and that's why it's important to make sure that your life is surrounded by people who are helpful, people who are inspiring. And if you don't have people like that in your life, there are countless books out there of people who have done well, and you can get your inspiration from them. I share this with you because I want you to remain inspired on your journey, even during the difficult times, because no one was promised that it was going to be easy. This journey is not an easy one, especially if you're in business. If you're in business, you have no doubt had some bumps. You've hit some bumps. You've had some challenging experiences, and you're used to it. Listen, you are the external force. If you're waiting for things to improve, it's not going to happen unless you make that change. You need to make that change and do so with boldness. I assure you that fear and doubt and insecurity and uncertainty is completely normal. Don't take hints from such emotions and use them as markers for whether you're doing right or wrong. No, it's normal to have these emotions. God gave them to us. Negative emotions are healthy, and it tells you that you're stepping into a space that's bigger than you anyway. So don't run away from them, but know that nothing changes unless you do. The fourth lie I told myself is, I need other people's approval to show that I'm doing the right thing. listen, this particular lie, I had to forgive myself. I had to have a season where I put myself in a corner and I said, Toks, I forgive you for spending all those years relying on the opinions of others and not trusting who you were on the inside. When you're going through a challenge, or when you are building a business, or you're in an unfamiliar territory because you have advanced or you're growing into a new space, it's very common for self-doubt to show up. And when self-doubt shows up, if you happen to have in your vicinity people who are opinionated, that might work against you, because that's exactly what happened to me. I had very little confidence in my own ideas because I would take a step and immediately expect that fruit will be born from it. I would immediately expect that I'll get something out of it. And when I didn't get something out of it, I'd be like, oh, it's not working. I'm not doing right. I don't know what to do. Now here comes somebody else who is so opinionated and so certain that she or he knows it all, and I begin to trust them more. And so I learned that we need to stop elevating people to a point where their opinion matters more than our gut feeling, because that's what happens when you're feeling insecure, when you're in an unfamiliar territory. You're looking for a familiar face. Sometimes that familiar face is a close friend that you've known for a long time, but maybe their words are not meant for you. Maybe you're supposed to listen to your gut and you're meant to follow the path that you have chosen. Following other people's opinion has its perks. I believe in mentorship. I've used the services of a mentor for years. I believe in learning from people who have gone before me. However, nobody knows like I know where I'm supposed to be going. You have to trust that your spirit knows the way. Even if you don't feel that you do, even though things might seem uncertain, you've got to trust that inside you is a GPS that knows exactly where you're going. So don't rely on the opinions of people. Don't run around from person to person trying to get them to co-sign your ideas, because they don't see what you see. You're looking from the inside out, they're looking from the outside, and they can see what you can see. The fifth lie I told myself was, I must follow the beaten path. That held me back, because what that suggests is there's only one way to do it that is going to work, and then you end up following that path. And in my journey of life and business, I've done that. I have looked at what has worked and just safely chosen to stay only on that path. The trouble is, you actually miss out on life when you do that. You miss out on enjoying life. You miss out on trying new things. You miss out on new experiences when you only go the way that other people have gone. You're unique. You have a unique DNA. No one on earth has what you have, thinks the way that you do, or even has your fingerprints. You are so unique. So why do you then think that there is only one way to get things done? I know that it's tempting, especially when we have, lifestyle gurus and coaches, and there are many celebrated people who have said 5 steps to success, or the 5 things you must do every morning. And it's comforting to know that there is a familiar path, or there is a familiar way to do things that has worked for famous people or well-known people. But you're gonna have to learn to trust that you can come up with your own way and go on your own path. Create your own path. You don't have to follow the path that other people have followed, and even though it made sense to you, just create yours. Do something new. Go to the supermarket a different route. Take a new route to work. Wear something you haven't worn before. Change your hairstyle. Just start doing little things differently from how you've ever done it, and it would begin to create the desire for more newness in your life. So here's the thing. There are lies that we tell ourselves, and it's silent, it's hidden in our heads. Nobody knows what we're thinking, but it's damaging. It's important that you take time out to expose what's going on in your mind and find out whether there are truths going on there or whether there are lies. Introspective journaling is such a powerful practice, because what it does is it takes all of the information that's in your mind, puts it on paper, and then you can have a look at it and see what's a lie and what's the truth. There are assumptions that we make that are based on nothing but emotion, and those assumptions when you act on them, you're actually going off in the wrong direction. There are lies that we believe, like some of the ones I've shared with you today, that may stop us from taking the next move in life or in our career. And so I recommend journaling. I couldn't recommend it enough. It is, I call my journals my best friend, because I literally just put everything in there. And if you are too scared to use a journal, because I know people who have been scarred because loved ones or older relatives had read their journals as kids and they swore off writing, you can write on a piece of paper, write on an A4 paper, empty all your thoughts, figure out what's the lie, what's the truth, pull out the action points from there and burn the paper, rip it up, and so no one has to see it. If you'd like to know more about my introspective journaling workshop, click on the link below. Thank you for hanging out with me. Please don't forget to like, share and subscribe, and I'll see you next time.